How do you feel about your bunker play? More often than not, the complaint I hear is, I just don't get to practice enough. Well, today I'm going to fix that for you, because you don't need hours of practice, you don't need wonderful practice facilities, and you don't need to be playing tons of golf to stop fearing your bunker shots. You can practice bunker shots at home. What? How on earth can you practice your bunker play at home without even hitting one shot out of sand?
I've brought you to sunny weather. We're outside in a real bunker. But why have I brought you here when I've told you you can practice your bunker play inside? Well, the reason is I want to just overemphasize what we're trying to accomplish with a bunker shot, okay? What we want to accomplish is using the bounce, all right? Bad bunker shots happen when obviously you catch it too thin, but they also struggle when we dig the leading edge of the club into the sand too much. That's when the ball just barely sort of fluffs out and stays in the bunker. Why does it do that? Well, it's because of the way the club is made. It has a sort of sharp leading edge on it. Depending on what bounce you may have, like I have 10 degrees of bounce on here, and that bounce, I'm not going to bore you about it because it kind of bores me, but it's the sort of arc that we have here. And we want to be trying to strike the sand with the bounce here so it bounces through. Instead of making the arc more of a V shape, we want it to be more of a shallow arc descent. And that's what we're trying to accomplish. One of my favorite tips to give you for consistent striking out the bunker is to just focus on the sand. Apart from having a good setup, which we'll talk about inside, but we want a little bit more weight on the front side. We want to be able to accelerate through, okay? And we want to trust that we can swing on this sort of angle of attack with commitment, that we're not digging in too much. We're not trying to do too much, because bad shots happen when we're like this, trying to dig into it, okay? Or when we're a little bit nervous and we lift up and we thin it that way. Those shots suck. And it's all because we haven't trained enough and trusted enough to have a smooth arc and use the club to the best advantage to give us the strikes that we want. But what if you can't practice your bunker shots as much as you'd like? What if the weather sucks outside? I'm going to show you a couple of really fun drills you can do inside. Over to you, Alex.
If you're frustrated with your bunker play, I wager one of the major reasons is because you do not practice it anywhere near enough. I'm not asking you to spend hours and hours at the short game area. All I want you to do is grab a tee, your sand iron, and a beach towel. No, it's not for the beach. It's for a couple of amazing drills that are going to help you get more confidence and splash it out with ease. Just to point out before we start the first drill, we don't really want to be using a golf towel. They're a little bit too thin and light. That's why I said a beach towel, and you'll see why in a moment. Because in a bunker shot, as we saw outside, we do want to be striking the sand first, but we want to be having a shallow angle of attack. And what this towel can do is replicate just a little bit the feeling of actually hitting sand rather than the ball. And you can actually use this on the driving range if you've got AstroTurf mats or whatever it might be. And it is so simple. All we do is take a towel that you don't care whacking around and just place it on the floor, okay? A decent sort of thickness, like an inch or so. Again, kind of similar to a bunker shot. Now, before you grab a ball and have a go at this, applying those techniques that we learned just a few minutes ago, what we're going to work on is actually striking this towel in the same manner, but making it bunch up just a little bit. And you'll notice that sort of extra resistance to give you that confidence to accelerate through with that resistance without striking a shot is extremely effective. Just to give you a heads up, these are called almost golf balls. I'm not affiliated with them or anything. They're just great. The kids can whack a few shots around the house. I can. And they don't really do any damage. So it's perfect for situations like this, whether it's in your yard, your garage, basement, office, wherever. These work a treat, and they're pretty cheap. So check them out. I will put like an Amazon link, because I think that's where I got them from. I'll put that in the description. Drill number 2 is designed to ensure that we get away from one of the biggest errors that I see many players make. And it is trying to help the bunker shot up, not trusting that we really have to accelerate through. Doesn't mean fast, it just means positive, confident acceleration. Grab one tee peg and put it on the floor upside down. So what we're going to do is the same sort of technique we discussed earlier, right? But we're clipping that tee peg. And really, the tee peg is the sand in this. So that's why it's a good idea just to work on dislodging the tee peg. And the more confidence you have, the more acceleration you can do that's keeping that arc shallow, okay? That's the goal. There's your at-home bunker shot.
I'm going to prove to you this works in the sand because it does replicate real-life bunker shots. Get your tee, get your ball. There's a bit of a difference to what we were doing inside, but we're teeing it up about 1 centimeter or so. Phase 1, I'm trying to dislodge the tee, strike a little bit of the sand, but not really move the ball. I'm hoping the ball is just going to drop down here, otherwise it might end up in some houses. But again, I'm trying to accelerate through. It's about being positive, okay? I'm focusing on getting through a nice shallow arc and the ball stays there, right? Is that all we want to do? No. Grab your tee again. We're going for phase 2. I'm going to be teeing it down quite a bit lower, all right? So I'm going to be making contact with the ball, but I'm still going to try and accelerate through and clip it just towards the flag here, right? Allowing a nice supple hinge of the wrists and accelerate through. This is just about the task of clipping the ball. Grab your tee again and a ball. This time we are going to actually make a little bit of contact. So if you can get out and practice your bunker shots this way, we're just working on that control, that height control or low point control. So we're staying shallow. So tee it up about 1 centimeter, 1 inch, something like that. My goal here is to clip the ball, but also the tee peg. So it's just there, okay? It's all about managing that distance control, managing that angle of attack. The better you get at it, the better that every single bunker shot you face will be. Back to you in the studio, Alex.
Why, thank you, Alex. And thank you for being here and watching today's lesson. I'll see you next time.